Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now this is a general reading for your sign, the one in the title, because it's a bulk introduction. There's a timestamp below if you've seen it already before. For the Mars conjunction with Neptune in Pisces this Saturday. I'm not going to speak at length about this because if you look at the link down below in the description for the Facebook page, I've already posted numerous videos about the astrologers who know what they're talking about this conjunction, and it has a wide range. On the very lowest octave, you can look at it as a suicide bomber willing to sacrifice his life for an ideal, whether it's deluded or not. At the highest octave, you can see that you have really forward momentum with some high spiritual goal or communication, but all the way wrapped through it is the risk of illusion, the risk of being swamped, of your fire being doused by the massive waters of Neptune. So it may well be a struggle to find that highest vibration of forward motion with a spiritual goal or spiritual communication or astral projection or anything. You know, astral projection is supposed to be a bit more tough at the moment now that the South Node is in Sagittarius. So the question I'm looking at is, I mean, it's mainly an oracle card reading, but the question I'm looking at is, how best can we use the energies of this conjunction? I mean, you can ask a question of your own, in which case pause the video, think of the question, focus. You've heard my spiel on other videos. But really, this is more of a, I'm wanting to look at the energies and the forces that are involved at the moment, because there's a lot going on in the world, and you know, macrocosm, microcosm, there's no doubt a lot going on in all of us. So, if you like the video, please press like. Thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed so far. If you do like the video, subscribe, and then you'll get to see more of it. And or, well, please subscribe, and or join the Facebook page, because that way you will always see my videos as I post them, and all the videos of places I'm learning from. Well, not all of the videos, but you know, there's, as I've mentioned before, the astrology podcast average length is 2.5 hours, you know. So that is, you can go and find the astrology podcast if you want to. But in the meantime, I don't think there's anything else to say. So, and there's a link down below for this month's Western and, for the first time, Chinese zodiac sign monthly readings. Okay, let me bring up the cards. In fact, just before I bring up the cards, I just want to read out the inside degree of this conjunction. Now, I'm reading Pisces 21, or the 21st degree of Pisces, because this conjunction occurs at 20 degrees 56 minutes, so towards the end of the 21st degree. So it's pagan fire worshippers dancing, trance states, at home in psychic realms and other realities, the self-abandon to the tribe, to the sweep of the moment, to the energies that arise, on fire with longing and poignant bittersweet reflections, a throwback, a native, a primal soul, emotional, depth-centered, superphysical. You are energized tremendously by special occasions, extraordinary meetings, unexpected miracles and tragedies, expectant and waiting for something wild and unknown to break through, mediumistic, vicarious, and charged with a life force that must be followed out, a certain distinctive fate, to be at times disappearing and gone, and at other times resurgent and mighty, all dependent on the tides of fortune. And it will always change in unpredictable, exciting, disorienting, and multiple ways. Considering the world situation as we head into this conjunction, I think that is quite poignant. And it goes to demonstrate what I was saying about the lower to the higher vibration. Be wary of delusion during this conjunction and during the energies of this conjunction. Mars later sextiles Uranus on the 30th, so I think Neptune may well colour that martial energy for, let me see, it'll be the 21st, so for that no, it's not, it's the 13th, isn't it? So nearly 2 weeks that Neptune may well colour Martian energy. So now let me finally bring up the cards properly. And welcome Scorpio Rising and Scorpio Moon after the timestamp. And if you are indeed Scorpio Rising, then this is all occurring in your 5th house, where you have fun, romance, and where you create things that you are proud of. However, the cards themselves seem to indicate more about power struggles and about where your loyalties lie, and the intent, positive or negative, of people who have some form of authority over you. Now, this could be people that you have given authority to. This could be people such as parents, employers, managers, that sort of thing. Friends who you always let take over. Is that could easily be one aspect of it, because the whole conjunction is being presided over by Paimon here in his incarnation of King of Subjugation. And what I really notice are the threads that are coming from his fingers, and I assume just being wrapped around the world. So there's that sense of manipulation, there's that sense of not misguided loyalty. I mean, you might, if someone is manipulating you, of course, if you are manipulating someone, then everything that I'm about to say is moot. But if you are and you don't quite realise that you are, and that could be brought to your attention during this time, but bear in mind that everything can be quite exaggerated during this time. It can get flavoured with things that are not quite real. So in either direction. Because we have loyalties here with faithfulness, and then from the Quantum Oracle, hidden motivations. So I was immediately thought that it's literally check why you're doing something. Are you faithful to someone because of a specific reason, over and above the fact that you love them and therefore you are faithful to them? And bear in mind, I'm not necessarily talking about as in faithfulness within a monogamous relationship. I'm not even talking about, I'm not talking about capital R relationships. I'm talking about little r relationships, your friends, your boss, your allies, your family. And this was also an aspect that came up with Libra, all about secrets and revelations. Now, bear in mind, with the amount of misinformation that's out there at the moment, this the authority figure could easily be the government, the TV station, those things that you allow to have power over you, and your attention is being drawn to how they have power over you and the various agendas that are coming up, because it's almost, I feel like you're going to be becoming aware of this and go, I'm going to do something about it. We have from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, we have 3 cards jumped out. Facade, i.e. being aware of that fake front. Discovery, the discovery of the lies, the manipulation, the false front. And then quest, the actually going to do something about it. Thank you very much. But be very, very careful that you are double checking and triple checking all of your facts, especially if this is in a personal relationship. I mean, when it comes to the media, well, of course the media's lying to us. It lies to it. You know, if it said it was sunny outside, I'd look out the window to check. But it's normally lying to us about scary things. So that's less likely to occur. But just because they're not telling the truth does not mean that we know what the actual truth is that they are not telling us. You know, so you've got to keep an open mind about that sort of thing. Now, Astaroth. Yeah, Astaroth, I feel, is very much talking about those things that we find naturally attractive. Let's see what the book says about him. Yeah. Beware of milking a perceived wrong or victim status to the point at which others begin to lose sympathy and avoid the complainer. And okay, so there is a converse with this, that you may be feeling like you're being controlled or manipulated, and that also is not the case. And that also is what the discovery and quest can refer to. But clarity, some form of clarity is coming, but it's a form of clarity where it's like you are making a decision to say, I'm going to get to the bottom of this, but you're doing it not with an agenda, but through an emotional filter. We've got the Lover's card, that making the decision, bringing the two things together is I am going to pay attention to this. But this is clarified by the Princess of Swords and the Three of Swords. So, but this is in the Neptune rose, so which is making me think that there is a perceived wrong, a perceived injury that is maybe not as bad as all that, or has that you don't understand all the ins and outs of it. Let's put it that way. Because the broomstick, clearance, again, with that clarity, it's saying about sweeping things clean, discovery, getting rid of the webs of deception. You know, whether they are your own or whether they are somebody else's, or whether they are the TV stations or the governments or the local councils or your parents or whoever, because this will play out differently for different people. The thing is that this power that's oppressing you, controlling you and manipulating you could very easily be you. You know, and just the beliefs that, bear in mind that if you have taken, say, we're talking about your parents doing it, and they're not doing it now, it's the effect of what they said and instructed you and educated you as you were growing up. Can you really hold them responsible for it now? Now, if they are still trying to manipulate you right now, fine, hold all the responsibility that you want. But there comes a point that you have gone along with those beliefs and you have decided to take those beliefs forward, you know, as you hit adulthood, and you've just carried on with those beliefs because why not? I've got momentum here, I'll just keep going. And so there's a responsibility on you for not having questioned them sooner. So in which case, the big bad guy that's been oppressing and manipulating you is now you, and not, you know, not anybody else. But I do feel that there's information that's coming from quite a way away that is going to cause you to react like you're in pain. You know, it's going to anger you, it's going to make you feel hurt, it's going to upset you. And I do also feel that is the news bit that I'm not even going to say that you are wrong to feel angry or hurt or upset, but what I am going to say is that you are not knowing the whole story. You are blind to something here. We have the Justice card, and I was thinking it was the Two of Swords, and my first thought is justice is blind. Especially since it is over the top of the Seven of Swords. Here it says futility, but you know, secrets, lies, strategies. You know, so maybe your strategies for your relationships or the way that you run your life is being called into question. And now is a great time to take that Martian energy to go and look at it. So it's not necessarily the time to do something about it, which you would assume the Martian energy would give you that oomph, but wait till Mars is in Aries for that. Now is the time to become aware of it as that Martian momentum pushes you up against all your illusions and makes you go, oh, right, okay. Because I feel like this news that comes in, it comes in from some distance. We have journey and we have traveler here, but it's also coming in to make you move a distance, you know, whether that's emotionally or physically, you know, or from one philosophy to another, or, you know, less one job. It doesn't feel very job. It feels very, well, surprisingly, it feels very airy, but then again, swords, and Justice of Swords and Ace of Swords. So yeah, it feels very, it's mental. So it's emotional, or it's belief, or it's, you know, some form of limiting thought or misconception. And also having that misconception taken away from you causes some grief. And you're also going, well, what do we do now? Seriously, what do I do now? Eight of Cups here with the Knight of Cups, and this Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups can be a little bit wishy-washy at times, you know, not as wishy-washy as the Pages, but he's full of great hopes and great promises, but it's the Knight of Wands that will do it, and it's the Knight of Swords that will do it fast, and it's the Knight of Pentacles that will do it very, very, very slowly, but with a firm foundation. But you have to be very, with all this facade, hidden motivations and faithfulness, there is, you have to be constantly measuring against your illusions. I don't want you to act upon them. We've got the Ten of Wands here under Traveller, and it's, like I say, with the Page of Wands, it's something that you have to plan to do to get to the next level. It's not something that you react to immediately. This is stuff that's being drawn to your attention, because we have the Tower and Victory, Six of Wands, straight after it. But again, I do feel like there could be a double-edged victory unless you are really making sure that you are clearing out in your own mind and in your own heart. This is a time for completion for you. I mean, we've got the moon. I completely missed the fact that this Mars Neptune conjunction has the moon passing over it today, in a few hours from probably as this video uploads, to be honest. The moon will be there. So there's a lot of spirituality and illusion. Now, from the Orisha Tarot, we have the Nine of Fire, which goes to the Nine of Wands. So Nine of Wands for me is, yeah, wounded warrior, but it's the almost there card. But with this Nine of Fire, it talks about remaining in spiritual pursuits, and maybe certainly avoiding liquor. There's one thing that he says: don't drink, avoid liquor. So it's, again, in that, even in the description of this card, it's aware of that influence of Neptune here, because Neptune can make you want to drink. You know, and hey, why not? But right now, no, because you can so easily go off track. You are being asked to question your loyalties, and what I am hoping is that for the vast majority of those loyalties, you question them and then you go, you know what? I was right, they're okay, they're fine. But there's certainly some driving force here that you are being called to examine, tear down, rebuild in the way that it's, well, just tear down, you know, rebuild your own motivating force, and don't use any of the bits, the one that you just tore down from, because cutting these things out, there's a balance that has to be chosen. There is a choice that you have to make for this process, and that choice, it starts with this conjunction. It's still going on at the end of this conjunction, but that is leading to a wonderful commitment to cut something out. But you have to figure out what to cut out, and it may not be that friend that you feel manipulated by or that takes over. It may not be stepping back from the influence of a very determined parent, because they have their reasons and you have your reasons. You just don't have to have their reasons, and that's the point. You don't have to have their reasons. So whether that's parents, friend, boss, whatever. So this looks like you're really going to get to swim in the waters of your own psyche, almost. I actually feel, despite the fact that all of this looks like really hard work, and the fact that your thoughts are very much coming in combat with your dreams, and your knowledge and interpretation is coming in combat with your dreams. Look at all these swords surrounding these cups, the 9 and the 8. I don't think you're quite going to get any wish fulfillment out of this, but you may get better wishes. That's what I could call the reading. You may get better wishes. But you will be making a commitment to this if you go through this process mindfully. Now, that's not a word I use very often, but yeah, if you go through this, because I want to say precariously, but that's not, you tread precariously, because everything that comes to you, is that true? Is that real? Even when this news comes that upsets you somewhat, why are you upset? That needs examining. And it may be a perfectly good reason, but also the news itself is distorted. So although everything that you know may be true, the filter in which it is portrayed to you may not be true, or there's details missing. It's a lie by omission. There's nothing else that I see here. Like I say, this, I'm always given, when I start for a new conjunction or aspect, I'm given my spread beforehand, i.e. it springs into my head fully formed. That's how I'm going to do it. Now, whether that's me or whether that's spirit, whatever. And this one sprang in fully formed, but it's really murky to read, because like in a lovely Celtic cross, I see links all over the place. And this, there are links all over the place, but they're not as straightforward. And this is not a straightforward energy to be working with. And it's with us for a good while yet. So good luck, Libra. This is not a dark night of the soul. But it's certainly a long night in the armchair reading a trilogy of books for the soul. Because there is a lot of work to do here. And yeah, I'm not using that as a title. Okay, so did I just say Libra? Scorpio, I've done that to you again. Sorry, I did that last set of readings. I called you Libra. So Scorpio, I think I'll just shut up now. But I have been doing Chinese and Western combinations. So if you want to see a Scorpio rat, Scorpio rooster, Scorpio dragon, whatever, comment down below and I'll put it on my list to do. And on that, after calling you the wrong name again, I will bid you goodbye. Cheers.